to Clover's Corner. I'm Talia, and it's been a while once again. This happens quite often because I have work to do, and it's kind of hard to record when you live with other people and things are going on. But yeah, it's good to be back. It's been like 3 months, 2 or 3 months, which is crazy. My notes app and everything ready to go because boy do I have a lot to talk about. Clover update, I guess. I did her DNA test a while ago, but I did Blaze's DNA test a few weeks ago now, and she's more of a Jack Russell than Clover by 0.4%, which is crazy. Blaze... Oh wait, no, I think I said that wrong. Blaze is 100... No, anyway. Blaze is 100% Jack Russell, which is crazy because any person that sees her and doesn't know much about Jack Russell always goes, that's not Jack Russell. Oh, it's got long hair. I've never seen a long hair Jack Russell. She's a rough coat. And Clover is 99.6, I think it was, because a great-great-grandparent was a Maltese or a Silky Terrier or something like that. Which is crazy because Clover is more of a stereotypical looking Jack Russell, which is bizarre. But yeah, I think I talked about Clover's results a while ago. But yeah, it's just strange how DNA works like that. So what have I been up to? I'm 26 now, which is funny how birthdays are because when you're a kid, people always go, do you feel older? Do you feel any different? You go, no. I actually do feel slightly different now. When I turned 25, I remember waking up and actually feeling like I have all the components of my brain. Like, yep, I'm fully developed now. Yeah, and every moment since turning 25, I feel more of myself than I ever have. Which is a strange but exciting feeling. So, yeah, I turned 26. I went to Queensland for my birthday. And it was very strange. I had a lot of fun, but what I'm going to tell you is a bit strange. So, the last time I went to Queensland was in 2009, and 2009 is like encapsulated in my brain in a very specific way because it was probably the best year of my life, and it was the last year I had complete childhood and normalcy before a lot of mental health struggles, becoming a teenager and then an adult and stuff like that. So there's a big nostalgia casting over, nostalgia cloud casting over Queensland for me and that year. So Declan, my boyfriend, and I, we went to Queensland and went to Movie World, and it was... Well, first we went to Wet n Wild, I think. I can't remember. Went to Wet n Wild, and so many of the slides were shut for maintenance. And you can go on the website and enter the app for Wet n Wild, and it tells you what is under maintenance. But it's confusing because some are, like, out for the day. Like, we are actively updating, fixing, doing maintenance and stuff. And then others, it's like more mechanical, or like they're just testing things for a few minutes and then it will be up and running, so you don't really know. But yeah, Wet n Wild, all the best stuff was pretty much not there. But we did see bush turkeys, which I didn't think was a thing, but makes sense now that you think about it. And then we go to Movie World, and I don't know if it was just a bad time to go or what, but like every ride was pretty much shut down for maintenance. Scooby-Doo ride, which is like top 2 or 3 best rides at Movie World, it's not open till 2025 because like $1 million maintenance thing they're doing on it, which is like disappointing. And then Superman was down, and a bunch of other rides were down. And then the only like thrilling rides that were open was, I think it's like the DC Joker ride, and it had a 100-minute wait, and even with fast passes people couldn't get through. And then we went on one ride, which is the Wild Wild West, and we were in the line for a long time. We get all the way to the front, and it seems like they're doing stuff to it, but then they're like, yep, you can go on. We get all the way to the top, and it's not moving or anything, and they're like, yep, turning it back on in a second. It was still fun, but it was just like, of course. And I posted on Reddit asking, and apparently ever since COVID, it seems like they've had trouble with maintenance and things like that, which is upsetting because Disneyland, I know it's not the same as Disneyland, but like theme parks in the world are still getting up and running, so I guess it's just an Australian theme park thing, I don't know. But it was like pretty devastating. Not really. It's just like one of those things where you get excited for something and then it doesn't turn out. Still had a fun time in Queensland though. But I think that gets me to my point is you always buy yourself the best gifts for yourself for your birthday. My policy in life is you always have to have your birthday off of work. I get personally offended when people don't do that. Unless you have an amazing job and you're in charge or you're doing some creative thing for work. I can understand that, but usually take your birthday off. That's my policy. And buy yourself as many gifts as you want. I wrap them up and open them for myself and I'm like, wow, you did it. I'll show you the 2 best things I bought myself though. Sorry. So, this behemoth of a lens, for people listening audio, it's a wide angle lens, but the only thing, and I could tell you the specs, it's an 8 to 15 millimeter lens. It's a fisheye, but on my camera it's only wide angle because of the sensor, but I use Lightroom so I can fiddle with stuff to make it look like a fisheye, but yeah, it's pretty hefty, and I've been playing around with it, and I really love it, but I always struggle to put this lens cap back on. But, I got a good discount for it. So I was, like, looking around, and the only places you could buy it, or I could find to buy it near me, were, like, Ted's Camera Store. It was almost, like, $3,000. I got mine for $900 off of eBay. And then the, little attachment thing so it fits on my camera, I think it was like still not great priced, but I got it for a good discount as well on eBay. So eBay for buying stuff like that. But this is more visually exciting, so I'm gonna show you my other thing I bought. ASMR. Okay, so this, I'll explain what I'm holding for the visual. I mean, wow, I am rusty. For the audio listeners, this is a Jeffrey Campbell shoebox. If you know Jeffrey Campbell, then you know this is kind of a big deal. But the box is, how do I explain this? It's covered in dog hair, but it's got like, even if I don't keep the shoes eventually one day, I will definitely keep this box because it looks so cool. It's got like a bunch of women on it and strawberries and pastel colours and stuff like that. But the boots, okay. So I've been eyeing off these boots for over a year. So Hayley Williams is wearing these red boots in the This Is Why music video for the album and the title song of the album. And I love them, but I don't have anything that goes with red boots. But I was like, I'm sure I can find a dupe or something. They have white boots. And I'm not a heel person, but these are so good that I have to. Sorry, I keep bumping the mic. The best way to describe these are, imagine white go-go boots, but like with a small heel. They're just so hot, and they are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. they're just, I don't even want to talk about how expensive they were because it will upset you. Let's just say the conversion rate wasn't kind. Not kind to me. You know? It's just, it is what it is. It's just, sometimes you're just stuck buying expensive items. You're not really stuck. You just buy stuff that you like, but you know what I mean. So I want to talk about something a little sensitive for a second. So if you don't want to listen to this, just either stop listening or just scroll on through until I talk about the next bit. I have watched 2 movies that I want to talk about, and the first one's a sad documentary. The next one's a happy, funny movie. So we'll talk about the sad first. I will give a little bit of a warning here. I'm not going to go into like graphic detail or anything, but this documentary that I'm going to talk about, sorry, if you're not comfortable with talking about medical situations or medical trauma, don't listen, and also mentions of suicide, but I'm not going to talk about that part. I'm just letting you know if you decide to watch the documentary, there is mentions of it. Okay, so the documentary I watched last night, I just saw it pop up and I was like, this seems interesting. I watched it and it was devastating. It's called Take Care of Maya. So this girl called Maya, it might be Maya, I can't remember now. Let's just say Maya, I'm sorry if it's Maya. This girl called Maya, she had all these medical conditions, or symptoms I should say, and her parents would take her to doctors and no one seemed to really understand or believe her, and it turns out she had complex regional pain syndrome, which I don't know too much about, but the documentary explains, say you get like a bruise or a cut, your body, if you have complex regional pain syndrome, reacts to it differently, and you would feel the pain everywhere, and it would last a long time. So this is what happened to their daughter. They found a treatment that was working for them. I'm not going to spoil it too much. Found a little bit controversial of a treatment. It stopped working and they went to hospital, and basically the hospital thinks that they're lying about this condition or they're abusing their child with the treatment. And so they separate this child from their parents with CPS for 3 months and leave her in the hospital. And yeah, there's currently a lawsuit for this hospital. $200 million lawsuit, because multiple families have gone through a similar thing. There is a doctor at a hospital who's claiming abuse when there isn't any. I can see why a doctor would maybe think this, but if you've never heard of a condition, why would you not contact another doctor or do some research, see other treatments for this condition, instead of just immediately jumping to something like abuse when you don't know what's going on? But it's pretty upsetting that this situation and situations like this happen, because then there are people like Gypsy Rose Blanchard who aren't sick or disabled and are being abused their entire lives, and the systems around them fail them, and then like devastating circumstances happen. And slightly different, but like I've been following the Turpin family story since it was released, and it's like for 30 years this family is abusing their children and no one seems to know anything about them. They're isolated, and there's situations like that where nothing is done, and then a family that genuinely cares about their children is doing the best to help them, and this is the outcome. Okay, So, if you're trying to skip through that part, that talk's over now. You can continue listening. So the good, happy, funny movie that I watched is pretty obvious, but if you know what's going on in the world, it's the Barbie movie. Holy shit, this movie is so good. I've seen it twice now. I am a chronic rewatcher of things, so if I like something, I'll watch it a bunch of times. Even though my brain is like, okay, this is annoying, stop doing that. I can't help it. I have seen the Elvis movie 8 times because I love it so much. The Lion King and The Wizard of Oz are my 2 favorite movies of all time, and I would say we're somewhere in heavy double digits, like 50 plus at least. So, yeah, I'm a chronic rewatcher. The Barbie movie is so good and so funny, and everyone is saying this. If you haven't heard anyone say this, you've been living under a rock, but I think this is the resurgence we need. This is another movie to add to the zeitgeist of movies women need to watch growing up. Young girls. Okay, maybe when I say young girls, I mean like teenagers. Okay, but yeah, the movie is so funny. I fall in love with Ryan Gosling way later than everyone else, but Barbie movie has done it for me. The I'm Just Ken song is so good. The cover of Push is so good. I love the outfits. Margot Robbie is Barbie, like, obviously. Yeah, there's nothing bad to say about that movie, and I think, for me personally, if you don't know much about me, I struggled with being a girl, with being a woman, pretty much my entire life up until, early adulthood. So, like, I would hear how boys and men spoke about women and internalize it and hated being a woman and tried to be everything else but that. And so this movie would have helped a lot, I think, in being okay and being proud to be a woman and things like that. This is like gonna be one of those classic movies. So when I think of movies for womanhood, I would think of Legally Blonde, Mean Girls, Clueless, Devil Wears Prada, things like that, where it's just you need to see them. It helps. I don't know what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. Yeah, I just remember thinking all these movies were so superficial and dumb, and I don't know why, because looking back, they are so much more than that. Like, Mean Girls, it's just classic toxic high school mentality, and it just shows how things unravel so quickly. Clueless, it's more about friendship and not understanding yourself, what's going on around you, and Legally Blonde is just everyone around you calling you stupid when you're not. Bring It On is the rivalry between women when it's not necessary. If you don't know what the Bechdel test is, it's to test if it's like a test for movies, where 2 characters that are women have to talk to each other about anything other than a man, and majority of movies don't pass that test, which is really sad and embarrassing, but yeah, it's a real thing. And those movies I mentioned, they all obviously pass the Bechdel test, but it's just femininity in general, and like the pastel pinks of womanhood are always seen as juvenile and stupid and dumb, and just like anything women like, it just always is seen as superficial and like surface level. But everything about the Barbie movie just shows that, like, it's so much more deep than that. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but if you understand what I'm saying, then yeah. It's just, I can't believe I spent so much of my life hating women, hating me being a woman. stuff like that, and it's just embarrassing and really sad. And it's not my fault, obviously, but it's just sad to see. We're probably just gonna do a shorter episode today because we're just getting back into the swing of things. But there is an important update I want to mention. I have a niece. Her name's Indy, and hi Indy if you're watching or listening to this in the future. But yeah, it's crazy. I've had 2 nephews, and now I have a niece, and I haven't met her yet, but she looks really cute in photos, and yeah, I'm an auntie of a girl now. So, yeah, this was kind of a bit of a roller coaster of an episode, and I'm sorry, but been meaning to make an episode for a while now, and I just haven't. So, as always, I come back really rusty, and then I have a good episode, and we continue. So, yeah, this was kind of a short and sweet episode, but I hope you enjoyed listening and watching. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, pretty much any social media under the username Tahmorrow. So, yeah. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anything like that, and there is a way to rate and comment, please do, because it does help, and I can get some good feedback. So, thanks for watching and listening. I'll see you next time. Bye.